So we were sent a brand new thriller from Korea, and this one is called Escape. And this one reminds me a bit of the Park Chan-wook film JSA, Joint Security Area, which I was a massive fan of, big fan of his work. The Revenge trilogy with Old Boy in there, which is the most popular of the three. But anyway, so this one is about a North Korean soldier who wants to defect to South Korea. And he, like Andy Dufresne in The Shawshank Redemption, is meticulously crafting his escape in the night while people sleep. And he is trying to plan out his escape. And of course, everything that can go wrong goes wrong.
Yep.
And the tension is ramped up as you watch him try to get out of this horrendous place. I love this. This is totally my kind of movie. Very thrilling from beginning to end. You can usually tell I'm super into a movie. Kaylee can, because she's the one who gets to watch them with me, when I'm constantly talking at the screen throughout the film.
That's
but
true.
like, not in a negative way.
No.
Where I'm like, oh, come on.
No, you're just like interacting with the movie.
Because I'm so tense, I can't
Yeah.
not do it. Like, seeing this in the theater would be very difficult for me,
yeah.
because I'd just be like, no, don't look in there. Don't turn around. No.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no, please don't do that.
Yeah.
And you're just rooting for this guy the entire film, and you're just, everything is so tense.
It's super tense.
And it's like very, I want to use the word realistic, because it mostly is, but of course it's a film. It's dramatic at times, and things don't play out. People don't have the aim that they should, or people are too good at aiming. When it's convenient,
right.
and whatever.
There's a little bit of plot
There's
armor
a little,
stuff going on.
a little movie magic happening here and there, but the emotion all feels very real. The desperation all feels very real. And, because we are Americans and we see North Korea for what at least we think it is, right? I mean, we've never been there, but from what we've seen, it is not a place that anyone wants to be. And you can't disagree, because you've never been there, and you're not watching this if you're from North Korea. So no one in the comments could even be like, you know what, I'm from North Korea. It's a horrible, god-awful place, and I can only assume this is probably something that... It sucks, because this is the kind of movie that I feel like the main target audience that this would be for would never be allowed to watch this, right?
Yeah.
Like I was just telling you, there was this story that came out maybe last year or 2 years ago, where it's like a school teacher or somebody like snuck a copy of Squid Game into North Korea, and they were executed. They were killed for bringing it in and showing it to people. Killed for showing people a television series. Like, if you think that place is okay, you need to have your fucking head examined. But this is a great film for just that, like, showing you how impossible this is, right? Like, there's a reason they don't do it. A lot of the people who want to, because they make it so impossible. What'd you think?
I thought it was a really tense movie too. It's definitely a really thrilling one. I really liked our main character. I thought that he was written very like smartly, and I found him to be very like easy to connect to and everything.
Yeah.
So I really liked his performance, and I liked a lot of the performances in the film as well. Like there's an antagonist in this that I think gives a really great performance, and I feel bad for his character. For some things. But then I also am like mad at him, for the other stuff that he does. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really thrilling, like, kind of prison escape on a larger scale, basically,
Yeah.
because it's such a, it's a country that you're trying to get out of. And yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about North Korea or what the life is like there, and I definitely am like mildly suspicious sometimes of things because I definitely wonder about propaganda on both sides, But I'm not trying,
Sure.
I'm not like a North Korea apologist or anything. I just don't know.
Right.
I just
I
question
get what you're
all the
saying.
information that comes from both sides. And this film is very much a like North Korea is bad, like get out,
Sure,
which
and
is
it's
fine.
made by South Korea, so
which,
of course.
like, so, but as a story, like not as anything based in fact, because I don't know how much of it is fact. Like we were wondering, not to give any spoilers or anything, but there's like a bell or something on the border of North Korea and South Korea that's like, and this like not alarm, but like a note, like a something saying like if you want to defect, like we welcome you, like come knock on the door. And I was really wondering, like, is that actually on the border? Like, do they actually have like and I don't know. I didn't look it up. I don't know if that's something you can find out, but I do wonder.
You just said that you don't believe propaganda on either side, so all information is propaganda.
No, but
you got to get your info from somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
That's-
I agree.
That's the rub these days.
Yeah.
Is like no one believes anybody else's source of information now. Everyone's like, oh yeah, where'd you get your info? And it's like, nothing's good enough now. It's like, I got it from, and it's like, oh, there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that propaganda. It's like, where do you get yours? And then you're like, oh God, that propaganda?
I definitely don't mean to be like that. I
know.
I just question things.
It's very difficult to have a conversation
Yeah.
anymore about anything because everyone is so fucking knowledgeable now.
Sure, they all have their own sources
Supposedly.
that are like, this is a source I trust. And, that's tough for sure. It makes it really hard to have like a conversation about things, but
Maybe we live in North Korea. Maybe that's what's happening.
Maybe.
Right now. It's fucking
I mean,
the way it feels at times.
yeah. So I like the film though. I think it's a good film. I think that there's a lot of heart in it, and at the end of the day, it's a story about freedom, and that's something that I think especially Americans really like connect to because we're really taught from childhood that freedom is like the most important quality of life that you can have. And I don't necessarily completely disagree with that because I do think that freedom is like something everybody should have.
We all have much different interpretations
But
of what freedom is in this country. Let me fucking tell you that.
That's definitely something, to note. But as far as like this situation of freedom, like, he just wants the opportunity to be able to do what he wants to do and to, I think that's really great. So it's an emotional film. There's definitely some things that were kind of unexpected that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think...
Here's what I know about the belief of freedom in the United States. People want freedom for themselves. That I know for sure, right? That is like universal. It's the freedoms they want to take from others is where we have the conflict.
Yeah.
It's like, no. I want you to stay out of my life. I just want you to stay all up in their lives, right? So anyway, moving on from that. Yeah, there's some things here. The movie's 90 minutes, 94 minutes. And I definitely think, like, it's funny because I just watched this Filipino horror film on Netflix called Campon or Campon, however you say it. And I was praising it because I was like, it's only 90 minutes. And a lot of these, like, especially like Asian cinema movies are always too long for their own good. And it hurts the film because I just feel like the runtime isn't justified. A movie can be 5 hours long as it justifies its runtime. And a lot of these don't. They overextend themselves to make themselves longer for whatever reason. And this is like, hilariously and ironically, the opposite problem for me. I would have liked to spend 30 more minutes with this movie. Right? Yeah. There's things that are set up here, especially with our main antagonist, that doesn't feel fully fleshed out in a satisfying way to where I'm filling in a few blanks.
Yeah.
Right? It's apparent enough. I think there's enough there for you to say, like, okay, I can cobble together everything, but to see it explored a little more, just to add a little more emotional weight to decisions and scenes, I think would have made this more successful, because we don't really understand their relationship that well. And I feel like if we had set up maybe some flashbacks, or, you know, some scenes together outside of this conflict, we would have maybe saw a different dynamic and a shift. And because we're introduced to it the way that we are, it is very one-sided, even though we are supposed to glean from the information that we're given a past, a history, and we get it, but we don't fully get it, right? And I would have liked to have seen that explored a bit more. That's my only real downside to the film. But it's not a huge one, because, as I said, there's enough, so I don't feel unsatisfied. I just feel like there's more to be had within the film, which is not a bad thing, right? Like, a film leaving you wanting more is a good thing. A film leaving you wanting less is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? And as long as you don't leave bored or dissatisfied, then I think you're good, right? So I didn't feel any of those things. I never felt bored, for sure. The movie's tense from literally moment one to moment's end.
Yeah.
There is not a second of this film that doesn't feel tense. It is like him breaking out from the second it starts.
Yeah.
Right, so there's no time to waste. And that's great. So it's really well paced in that way. So it seems kind of hypocritical to me to say there should be more time spent in the movie, bogging down the runtime. And so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this does flow better, having cut out that kind of stuff. I just think that the attachment to the other characters and their relationships might have hit a little bit different had we seen a little more like the opposite, like what's the word I'm thinking of, contrast.
Yeah.
If we could have saw that, it would have made the ending even more powerful for me.
Yeah.
But as it sits, it's still great, and it speaks to something that I am like a major supporter of, which is like, if you're in a terrible situation and you fucking hate your life, do whatever it takes. Get out. It is not like it's worth dying for. It is. Because not living isn't living.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Just having your heart beat and having thoughts in your head, that's not life.
Yeah.
To me. So if I'm trapped in some horrible situation that I can't get out of, I'm going to die trying to get out of it, personally. And so for me, this is like, this speaks to who I am as a person. Right? Some people are just like, you know, they're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I get that. I get the fear. I understand fear, better than most. But I also, I have a greater fear of not living than I do of death.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So that's that. Anyways, very, very pleased with this one, and I hope that everyone looks forward to it. The embargo actually released yesterday, so we can actually drop this now.
Yay.
And absolutely check out Park Chan-wook's work. And this is not directed by Park Chan-wook, just so that we're clear. But he directed JSA, which I think was his first film, and it has a similar kind of vibe going on because it's about South Korean soldiers and North Korean soldiers like creating a bond and a friendship together when they're not supposed to, and that shit's tense as hell when they get caught, right? And the rest of the movie is like, you know, them being interrogated. Great film, as is the Revenge trilogy. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, and Lady Vengeance. He's got fantastic work. So check out South Korean cinema, especially in the thriller category. They make the best shit.
Yeah.
The best shit. Whether it's I Saw the Devil or The Yellow Sea, or like, you can just go through. Just look up lists of like best South Korean thriller movies, and just have a whole new experience because
Yeah.
they make the best thrillers. Period. That's that. All right. Let us know what you think if you watch it, and we'll see you in the comments.
Bye.
Hail North Korea.